I love a good rom-com or heartwarming story, and this summer I'm finally diving into a few series and authors that I've been meaning to catch up on. Starting off strong with a Carley Fortune. Her books just scream summer in Canada from what everyone is saying. So this summer I want to read all of her books. I am missing one, which is This Summer Will Be Different. I recently picked up the first book in the series from Book Outlet. If you want to see my Book Outlet haul, click on this video. So her books center around a small lakeside town in Ontario called Barry's Bay. So as a fellow Canadian, I'm very excited to learn about the area. I think there are a few times they will sort of come back to Toronto and I believe go to another province. So that's always exciting to read about. The first book, Every Summer After, follows Persephone, Percy for short, and Sam. They were childhood best friends who eventually their relationship sort of grew into something more is what it seems like. And then there was some sort of event that caused them to have a falling out. So now Percy is back in Barry's Bay for Sam's mother's funeral. So my theory is that they're probably rekindling their relationship, but also needing to resolve their issues from the past. So we will see how this one goes. This will be book 1. The second book follows Fern and Will, who seem to have a chance encounter in the city. And when they say city, I'm really hoping they mean Toronto, so we can read about Toronto. And they spend a whole 24 hours together doing a lot of fun things, talking about everything. And they make a pact to meet 1 year later. However, Fern shows up and Will does not. So she is probably like, forget him. I'm never thinking about him ever again. But of course, she has to go back to Barry's Bay to help out her mother with her lakeside resort. And she just feels like she is drowning in maintaining this resort, I guess. And Will comes along to save the day, but she's not sure if she can trust him. He also seems like he has some secrets that he's not telling her. So they try to see if they can save each other. And then the third book, since I don't have a physical copy of it, This Summer Will Be Different. So this one seems different in that it will take place in Prince Edward Island, which, if you don't know, is a different province in Canada. So that's actually very exciting to be in a new location. I love reading about books that are set in different places. Prince Edward Island is supposed to be very small. You can do everything that you need to do in a day. So this one follows Felix and Lucy, and it seems like Lucy sort of goes to Prince Edward Island every now and again, and every time she goes, she's hooking up with Felix. So she seems determined on her most recent trip to ignore Felix and not hook up with him because she has gone there to support her friend Bridget, who flies from Toronto to Prince Edward Island. So we'll see how that one plays out. And then the last book that just came out earlier this month is One Golden Summer. So this one follows Alice and Charlie. Alice is a photographer whose grandmother, I guess, lives in Barry's Bay. So she has sort of grew up maybe visiting her grandmother, or at least she spent one summer up in Barry's Bay. Alice and Charlie seem to get to know each other, and she's just trying to figure out who he really is, because he's not who she thought he was, I guess. But I will say, I think so far I have heard good things on this one. So really excited to finally get into and to start this series. So the next set of books that I want to get into are the Abby Jimenez books. So I currently have 4. I have read The Friend Zone, and I did enjoy this book. I will say it wrecked me. You know, that piece at the end of it, I was like, why? Why did we do this? Why did you add this in here? But I get it, because that sort of sets up this second book. So the Happily Ever After playlist follows Sloane, who we do meet in The Friend Zone. From my understanding, her books, as much as they are slightly connected, they're supposed to be meant to be standalone. So I think they will talk about what happened in this book in here. However, I don't know. Honestly, it wrecked me reading that. So I don't want to say too much about this one in case like you want to go in a bit blind. So we have Sloane, who finds a lost dog, and I'm assuming he has a collar with a phone number on it. So Sloane texts the owner, but however, after weeks of unanswered texts, she finally gets a text back, and turns out he is a musician on tour in Australia. So he says that he wants his dog back, even though he hasn't seen his dog in weeks, apparently. And she is determined to not give up her dog without a fight, because it's been weeks and she's like, this is my dog, what do you mean? And I believe they sort of just text back and forth a little bit, and then I guess love potentially blossoms. So we will see. I'm very excited for this one, just hoping that Sloane gets a better story. Next we have Life's Too Short. This one I think will be fun. So we have Vanessa, who quit her job to go travel the world. I guess she started a YouTube channel, so hello, everything just ties in. And she's out here sharing all the great moments of her life until suddenly her half-sister leaves Vanessa with custody of her baby daughter. So I guess Vanessa puts everything on hold, goes back to take care of her niece, and then she surprisingly gets help from the hot lawyer next door, Adrian Copeland, who I'm wondering if he is related to Josh Copeland from book 1, if that's how they are related, maybe his brother or cousin, who knows. This should be good. I'm excited for this one. So the next one after that, which I don't have a copy of, should be Part of Your World. So again, technically all the books are standalone, so I'm not sure if we will see some of these characters in the other two. So we have Daniel and Alexis. So Alexis is a ER nurse. Daniel is a talented carpenter. And I guess it's really just trying to figure out whose world are they going to be a part of. Is Daniel going to be part of her city life, or is Alexis gonna go and try to be part of his like country carpenter life? It seems like it's gonna be more of Alexis trying to figure out the life that she wants. Does she want to be something slower in this small, tight-knit community, or does she want to live in the big city and help thousands of people through her career? And then next we have Yours Truly. So our characters here are Dr. Brianna, who I am assuming we probably see in Part of Your World. And then there is also Dr. Jacob, who is a new doctor at the hospital. Pain in her butt, she says. But then for some reason he sends her a letter, and then they start exchanging letters back and forth. Brianna also has a brother who is looking for a kidney donor, and then Jacob decides to give Brianna a kidney for her brother. I'm not sure if it's like his kidney or he finds a kidney, who knows, I guess we'll see. But then he eventually calls in a favor that she says that she can't refuse. There is another book from Abby Jimenez just for the summer, but I did already read that. I think I got a copy for audiobook. So I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna focus on these 3 plus Part of Your World. And if there are other summer books you think I should read, please let me know down in the comments. I know I have limited time, since to me summer is really June, July, August, but I'm gonna try to get through as many as I can. So next, I finally want to get into the Dial A for Auntie series, and mostly because I just have the physical copies. So again, picked this one up recently, which is the 3rd one. So we have the first one, which is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Satano. So for book 1, we have Madeline Chan, who is a part of a Chinese Indonesian family, and I believe they have a wedding business. So I guess in the span of one weekend, Meddy's great love comes back. There's all this wedding chaos, a murder, and they're all working together trying to still pull off a wedding. I thought this would be a fun read, which is why I originally bought it. I love that it is like Chinese, Indonesian. I think there'll probably be a lot of similarities with Filipino culture. So that is book 1. The second book is For Aunties and a Wedding. I don't want to ruin too much for myself, but I am assuming it is Meddy's wedding just based on this cover. And then I'm sure something bad happens and her aunties are trying to fix it. And then the third one, The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties, I believe just takes place after her honeymoon. Again, don't want to spoil too much for myself in this series, but I feel like it'll be fun. I truly just love a series, especially when they have a lot of supporting characters that are really funny and comical. I'm probably going to do a book review video of all the books that I read this summer at the end of summer. So if you want to see what my thoughts are on all these books, please consider subscribing so you'll see when that video comes out. So I don't have physical copies for the next 2, but I did want to read the It Happened One Summer and the Hook, Line, and Sinker book from Tessa Bailey's. This is the Bellinger Sisters series. It is a duology, I believe. I only see the 2. I do remember everyone talking about It Happened One Summer since it's sort of of a Schitt's Creek inspired rom-com, and I love Schitt's Creek. That one was such a funny show for me, and again, Canadian, so loved it. So in It Happened One Summer, we have Piper, who comes from a wealthy family. She gets cut off by her stepdad and gets sent to live in Washington in this Pacific Northwest beach town. She's supposed to run a dive bar with her sister, and then she of course meets a local Brendan who thinks that she is not going to last a week here. But Piper is determined to show her stepfather and this grumpy local that she is more than just a pretty face. And then the next one, Hook, Line, and Sinker, follows her sister Hannah and Fox. And Fox is considered a playboy with a very carefree, flirty reputation. But for some reason, Hannah is immune to all of his charms. She's actually interested in one of her coworkers. So she actually recruits Fox for his help for how she can get her coworker. So I'm assuming we are going to see him try to win her over. So I thought those two would be fun. Screams summer in my mind. I did recently read Fangirl by Tessa Bailey, and I actually like that more than I thought. I love the banter between the two characters, so I'm hoping her writing is probably similar for these two. And then, if I manage to get through all of these books and still have time in the summer, there are a few one-off books that I thought I would dive into. I have been wanting to read The Unhoneymooners for a while. The only issue is I did get a copy of the audiobook for The Honeymoon Crashers, not realizing that it was the sequel to this one. So because I listened to that, I kind of already know what happens in here, which is why I haven't really picked this up. I know this was very popular for quite a while. Everyone loved this. Everyone loves Christina Lauren to begin with. I do have quite a few Christina Lauren books, but I think, you know, summer, I think it'll work. I think it'll be fine. So this one is an enemies to lovers. We have Olive and Ethan. Olive's sister Amy is getting married, and then Ethan is the best man. Unfortunately, at the wedding, everyone gets food poisoning except Olive and Ethan. So Amy asked her sister Olive to go on her honeymoon because I believe she won it as a prize in some sort of giveaway or whatever. And she doesn't want to just give that up. So she makes Olive go and Ethan goes, and then of course, love happens. So if I have time, I think I'll try and get into this one, as well as The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armas. Again, another book that I picked up from my book outlet haul. And this one follows Josie, who we met in The Long Game, which is the first book in the Green Oak series. And this is a fake dating book. Josie convinces Matthew, who she just met, to pretend to be her fiance. And I'm guessing he's like, sure, I don't have anything else to do. Why not? And hopefully they fall in love, because quite frankly, fake dating is one of my favorite tropes. I love watching people pretend like they don't love each other. I like Elena Armas's writing, so I know I will probably enjoy this. Also, Josie's character in The Long Game was very likable and charming and funny, so I'm sure this will be great. And then lastly, what I might get into is The Love of My Afterlife. Carter Sullivan gave this a 5 stars, so really excited to see how this one goes. This one follows Delphi, who passes away, and while she is waiting in the afterlife waiting room, she meets a gentleman who she really kicks it off with. Unfortunately, it was a mistake. He gets sent back to Earth, and she's provided with an offer to be able to go back to Earth and potentially find this man. So she takes it, and I guess is on a journey to find him. So hoping this one is a fun read. And quite frankly, I think that might be all that I could probably get through. So that really leaves me with about 17 books that I would love to read in the next 3 months. Let me know down in the comments which series or book you think I should start with. Let me know if you've read any, what your thoughts were. I will be doing a review video probably at the end of summer on all the books that I managed to get through. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more content. Thank you for watching and happy reading. Bye.